Chapter 1: The Grim Reaper. The city lights glitter beneath the midnight sky. Far below, the streets of Los Angeles remained alive with neon signs, car horns, and people rushing to places they believed matter. Among them walked a woman no one noticed. Her long black hair flowed behind her like silk, with red lips, wearing a pair of red high heels. Her crimson trench coat swayed with each step, and hanging from her waist was a charm made out of 3 small bells dangled together with white, pink, and green beads, perfectly tied in red knots. Their haunting melody echoed through the narrow alleyway. The woman smiled.
Ntshiab Liag. Hãy từ đá sâu xe, ở cho nên ở đèn tới nó họ, lọt sầu lại từng Ntshiab Liag mà hòn tu trò tên đi.
She glanced upward toward the moon.
Humans call me the Grim Reaper.
Suddenly, the bells at her waist began ringing rapidly. The sound grew sharper, faster, and urgent. Ntshiab stopped walking, and golden particles appeared before her. Then it formed into shimmery letters in the air. Pheej Hmoo, age 28, date of death June 22nd, 2026, time of death 11:51 p.m. Cause of death suicide by jumping off a building. Ntshiab Liag smirked.
Ý tưởng gì?
With the snap of her fingers, she vanished from the streets and appeared high above the city, atop the Holiday Inn hotel. The cold wind whipped through her hair, and beneath her feet glowed the giant neon billboard attached to the rooftop. She sat casually on top of one of the neon letters, one leg dangling over the edge, patiently watching and waiting. Ntshiab Liag looks at her watch. 11:30 p.m. Below her stood a young man, Pheej Hmoo, alone, broken, and hopeless. He slowly approached the edge of the roof. 11:35, 11:40, 11:45 p.m. Each minute brought him closer, closer to death. Ntshiab Liag simply watched. Death was not her responsibility, only what came after. Finally, Pheej Hmoo stepped onto the ledge, eyes filled with tears.
Cô chỉ sợ ôn ninh nhỏ muốn gì lời. Lưu ninh nó cho ya kì mò xin chỉ bờ sư. Cô niên niên nữ niên mò. Tòn trọng cả lưng tu mò cha kể chán tu cho cô. Ta xì cô yo u chỉ ta muốn gì lời. Cô thọ nhau sư lời.
Ntshiab Liag glanced at her watch. 11:48 p.m. 3 minutes remaining. Suddenly, the rooftop door bursted open. A police officer rushed onto the roof with his gun drawn, breathing heavily. His face is partially concealed beneath a black mask. The officer immediately raised a hand.
Chị thoát thea. Để kia là có. Ý câu chuẩn gì kì cô yo thea.
The officer froze.
Okay.
Slowly, he crouched down, carefully placing his gun onto the ground, took off his mask, then he raised both hands. Ntshiab Liag scoffed. There's no way this mere human can prevent the fate of heaven. To ensure nothing goes wrong, she jumped down from the billboard, landing silently.
I'm not here to hurt you.
The officer slowly stood up, and now that the mask is off his face, she moves right in front of him, in between them, to get a closer look at his face. His ear twitched as he heard the sound of the bells. His eyes shifted from Pheej Hmoo and looked directly into her eyes. Their eyes met and Ntshiab Liag froze. Her heart skipped, and his gaze remained unblinking and unmoving. Ntshiab Liag instinctively stepped backward. 100,000 years guiding souls, 100,000 years serving death, and never once had a living human looked directly into her eyes. Then suddenly, the officer sprinted forward, straight through her. Ntshiab Liag gasped. He wasn't looking at her, he was looking past her toward Pheej Hmoo.
No!
11:51 p.m. Pheej Hmoo smiled sadly as he stepped backward into the empty air. The young man's body disappeared into the darkness below right on time. Ntshiab Liag let out the deep breath she's been holding in.
Pheej Hmoo.
The officer collapsed to his knees, breathing heavily. Ntshiab Liag slowly walked toward the edge and tilted her head to see his frustrated face. She then slowly observed his face, eyes full of tears, whispering under her breath.
Pheej Hmoo. Ôi chà, tứ tối bột sẽ không lỡ. Có họ trò chữ từ cổ hồn đây nọ. Ôi chà, có luôn chim mua. Tụ chan chữ. Nếu chính trong ní cô. Có lưu xóa tụ ntshiab tụ sáng chàng. Chính trong sĩ sự. Ê có bó gió của tụ thầu y.
Another officer came running through the door.
Pheej Hmoo,
Frustrated, he exclaimed.
cú tụi nó chỉ tao hơn Lily. I lost him.
The other officer came and put his hands on Pheej Hmoo's shoulder.
Oh, Chetika, we can't save everyone.
Ntshiab Liag snapped out of it, and then she looked down at the broken body far below. A faint silver began to glow, rising from the pavement, and with a snap of her finger, Pheej Hmoo's soul vanished down to the pavement. She then watches as the team cleans up the scene and observes Pheej Hmoo's every move. All kinds of emotions run through her mind. Chapter 2: The Shaman Who Cannot See. The warm shower poured over Pheej Hmoo's shoulders as he stood silently beneath it. His eyes remained closed, but his mind refused to rest as Pheej Hmoo's final moment replayed over and over again. Pheej Hmoo clenched his jaw.
Damn it.
He had been too late. Again, as a police officer, he understood that not everyone could be saved, but understanding it and accepting it were two different things. The guilt crawled up his spine like ice. Then, suddenly, he felt something. Two cold hands slowly wrapping around his waist from behind, as if someone was embracing him. Pheej Hmoo's eyes shot open and his entire body tensed. He spun around instantly, but there was nothing. Pheej Hmoo narrowed his eyes.
Phi, nên cho tao đã chi, chẳng có cụ thía. Có chỉ nhớ có cho trong chén ít lời của tôi có tổ kia.
He quickly grabbed a towel and wrapped it around his waist, and then walked into the living room to his shaman altar and lit 3 sticks of incense and began a protection chant. By day, Pheej Hmoo served as a police officer in Los Angeles, but at night, he pursued the path of a shaman. Ever since he was a child, he had possessed an unusual sixth sense. He could hear things others couldn't and sense danger moments before it arrived. But he's still struggling to open his third eye. To make matters worse, bad luck followed him everywhere. Every shaman master he approached refused him. Eventually, Pheej Hmoo stopped asking why. He simply kept moving forward.
27, I've got both the victim and the suspect here on 3rd Street, just...
Suspect is armed and last seen on the second floor. Proceed with caution.
The police vehicle surrounded an abandoned building. Pheej Hmoo adjusted his vest, and beside him stood his partner, Officer Lee.
You ready, Pheej Hmoo?
Pheej Hmoo checked his firearm and nodded with a grin, raising his eyebrows.
Con nè.
Cô ready too?
Okay, let's go.
The team moved into the building slowly, room by room and floor by floor. Pheej Hmoo searched every room carefully until he heard a movement. He caught the suspect in the middle of trying to hide inside a storage room.
Police! Hands where I can see them!
The man froze with his hands up and Pheej Hmoo handcuffed him quickly. He thought to himself, this is easy, too easy. Something felt wrong. His entire body froze. The sound of those bells was the exact same sound he had heard from the rooftop. Pheej Hmoo slowly turned around, but the hallway was empty. Suddenly, a second suspect bursted out from behind a doorway. He has a gun and is aiming directly at Pheej Hmoo. Time seemed to slow. Pheej Moo's eyes widened as the second suspect pulled the trigger. Then, out of nowhere, Officer Lee attacked him. The shot went off and the bullet changed direction, but not enough. Pheej Hmoo felt a burning pain explode through his shoulders and his body spun, then crashed onto the floor. Voices echoed around him, and the sound started to feel distant and muffled, and everything became blurry.
Don't close your eyes. Stay with me.
Pheej Hmoo forced his eyes to open, and through the haze, he saw a pair of red heels walking toward him. The bells hanging from the woman's waist echoed softly with every step. Then the darkness swallowed him whole. Pheej Hmoo slowly opened his eyes. Everything felt heavy, and through his blurry vision, he sees a silhouette of a person.
Wow.
He groans, feeling the pain on his shoulder, remembering that he got shot. Then, the silhouette emerges into a woman. She leans over to look at him. Pheej Hmoo stared at her, lost in her eyes, and then she tilted her head. He groaned in pain and then asked,
Go your tư.
The woman looked surprised, then turned around, checking behind her as if searching for someone else. Finally, she pointed at herself.
Có hai cô.
Pheej Hmoo stared at her.
Yo cụ chỉ hai co, vậy cụ hai lên từ nó.
For several seconds, neither spoke. Then, a mischievous smile slowly appeared on her face.
Oh,
She folded her arms.
cô nhà tụ bỏ thảo lỡ tôi có sư. Cô chú nhà sa sai xe, có bỏ tao chỉ sư.
Ntshiab narrowed her eyes as if studying Pheej Hmoo. She's trying to understand what's happening. For the first time in 100,000 years, no human had ever been able to see her. And somehow, that human was him. Pheej Hmoo looked down at her red heels, remembering that was the last thing he saw before he passed out.
Yo lên đó chê, ô có trâu, ô có chuyện bắt thơ cho cụ thế.
Chiếu lý cha, có thể sợ tao là chê, cũng một lần nữa.
Without giving him another chance to ask questions, Ntshiab turned and quickly walked out of the room. Several minutes later, Lee stepped inside carrying a cup of coffee.
Thảo, có okay了.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little better.
Pheej Hmoo looked toward the door.
Có bỏ tao nụ tụ bỏ nè when it's called shooting.
Hả? Lúc sáng đó mà có thể cứu sinh một witness teller.
Pheej Hmoo blinked.
Ta khi nó tụ in still nhon the non cho cụ thả nè.
Lee slowly walked over and placed the back of his hands against Pheej Hmoo's forehead.
Oh man, let me call the doctor.
He chuckled and gently pushed Lee's hands away.
I'm okay.
But as Lee reached for the call button, Pheej Hmoo's smile slowly faded. His eyes drifted toward the door where she had disappeared, unable to comprehend who or what that woman truly was. He sat there in silence. If it wasn't for the bells he had heard and Lee, he wouldn't have made it out alive. Chapter 3: The Vengeful Spirit. A woman's laughter drifted through the darkness. Its haunting melody echoed across the front yard of Pheej Hmoo's house. Inside, the young officer slept peacefully in his recliner. His shoulder remained bandaged from the gunshot wound. Slowly, the front door swung open by itself. The television then flickered on with its soft light casting a soft glow. The sound of the static shattered the silence in the room. The cold mist seeped into the house, and from within the fog emerged a woman. She wore an elegant black embroidered Hmong outfit. A faint smirk curved across her lips as she stepped toward the house. Behind her shuffled two twisted spirit servants. The moment they cross the threshold, a strong barrier force pushes her back as if a 10-foot brick wall was placed there. She glanced down and a little 3-foot frozen figure appeared with her hands out. Pheej Hmoo's little spirit guide. The spirit blocked the doorway. Its voice echoed like distant thunder.
Neeg cho nó có hiền lên tứ. Neeg chỉ những chú ý câu chuyện gì lòng nó. Cho cái mù, chỉ nên đợi của chị chơi nên cho xe.
The spirit servants hissed, and the woman scoffed. The sound sent chills throughout the yard.
Có xả tìa, có thỉnh tàu của nó lo, bao số trong đó.
With a flick of her sleeve, the two servants lunged forward, and Pheej Hmoo's spirit guide tried to meet them. The house trembled as spiritual energy exploded throughout the front yard, but the woman never once turned around. Her eyes remained fixed on only one person, Pheej Hmoo. He remained asleep, unaware of the chaos surrounding him. She slowly approached him. Her expression then slowly softened as the hatred disappeared. She put her face inches away from him, and for a moment, she simply just stared. Pheej Hmoo. Her fingers traced the contours of his face to his jawline and up to his brows. Then her hand drifted lower toward the fresh bandage covering his shoulder. She pressed against it, wanting him to feel the pain. "Tune, je do." Pheej Hmoo groaned in his sleep, and she smirks. Then, again, conflicted with her feelings, she immediately withdrew. "Oh, cô thọ chiều." A flicker of guilt appeared in her eyes. She then put her fingers back and lingered near his lips, pressing it down gently. A sadness deeper than death filled her eyes. Finally, she knelt on the floor beside him, slowly and carefully, as though afraid of breaking a precious treasure. She rested her head against his lap, then took his sleeping hand, placing it softly against her cheek. "Từ nay của Hlub, con à." Lý trọc á lên theo ta có lời. Dạ, có yếu, chưa đưa luôn. Có chuyện giao tìa, chuyện chỗ của lo. Chết tìa lo. Có yếu yếu của tư. Outside, the thunder rumbled across the sky while Pheej Hmoo slept peacefully. Chapter 4, The Door That Was Never Closed. Golden sunlight spilled through the windows of Pheej Hmoo's living room. Ntshiab Liag wandered quietly through the house, examining the photographs hanging on the walls and the collection of indoor plants by the window. Pheej Hmoo slowly opened his eyes. Then he jumped as he sees her.
Có yon linh tử, ya có hong cả lọt tao hông nọ.
Ntshiab Liag turned around casually, and he realized she was the woman from the hospital.
Cô ya là hậu nó.
Pheej Hmoo's eyes widened.
Ôi chả có yon trai ở lúa. Cô đa sao. Có lúc chỉ sáu, có lúc khó trông nè.
She pointed toward the front door. Pheej Hmoo glanced over and realized she was right. Then his police instinct kicked in. In one swift motion, he reached behind the couch cushion and pulled out his backup pistol and pointed the gun directly at her.
Có tờ cô lọ. Có sao tao đã chi?
Ntshiab Liag sighed. Before he could react, she vanished and Pheej Hmoo's eyes widened. Then a voice whispered beside him.
Pheej Hmoo.
He nearly jumped out of his skin. Ntshiab Liag was suddenly standing inches from his face. Slowly, she pushed the barrel of the gun away.
Có đã bỏ. Ôi chỉ tao đã chi cho cô.
Pheej Hmoo stumbled backward.
Đã.
She walks toward him.
À chi cô hiện đã là mà. Chỉ lý chè, cô yên trai có đã bỏ rồi.
He faints for 1 second and opened his eyes and seen Ntshiab Liag hovering over him.
Đã. Có sao tao đã chi?
Cô sợ bỏ ai tiệt. Ôi chả có họ bỏ tao cô. Tứ tao ấy bỏ chết không lờ. Chỉ tao mới tu tư. Ôi yếu bỏ tao cô. Có bỏ yếu tư gì nè.
Silence filled the room. Pheej Hmoo had spent his entire life trying to open his third eye, but had always failed to do so. So why? Why is it now that he could see her? He then gave her a small nod. Ntshiab Liag slowly walked around the room once more. She paused beside the doorway, then beside the window, and then beside the couch. It was like she was searching for something. Ntshiab Liag narrowed her eyes. Someone else had been here recently. Every human, spirit, and supernatural entity carried a unique scent. Pheej Hmoo noticed her strange behavior.
Có. Ủa đã chi?
Dùng li mất lên thương gà lò họ có lúc trẻ. Ôi chả có chỉ bỏ li. Có tư yếu tư gì nè.
Cú. Yên nhỏ ít tu gì nên. Để xì cú trốn họ sư. Bên dầu cú yên lòng tàu tìa mua ra chỉ nhon từ ít buồn gì. Để xì cú chỉ bao hai tìa bùi lên từ tìa.
It's Lee.
Oh, boss said come write your report, like, now.
He quickly grabbed his shirt and keys, then paused at the door, glancing back at Ntshiab Liag.
Ý chỉ cú thọ có cho cả lòng chỉ cú đua bỏ tàu. Cú muốn đồ giả hòa cú chỉnh xa nung gì.
He still has questions, and he needs answers.
Tê rau.
Like a shadow unseen by the world, Ntshiab Liag observed Pheej Hmoo's every step from behind as he drove to work. At a red light, she sits on a building watching his vehicle. Then she noticed it. A dark figure sit in the back seat of the car beside him. Its long fingers wrapped around the driver's shoulder. It was like it was whispering, guiding, and controlling him. As soon as the light turned green, the driver's hands jerked unnaturally and crashed into Pheej Hmoo's car, jerking it forward. Then the shadow vanished. Pheej Hmoo sighed. Just another bad luck.
Đã sao chia.
He thought to himself as he and the other driver pulled over. As Ntshiab Liag followed him throughout the day, she noticed he has an aura that attracts bad luck and negative energy. The deeper she observed him, the more troubled she became. Small ghosts wandered throughout the police station. Some sat on the filing cabinets, others lingered in the corners, yet Pheej Hmoo notices none of them. A shaman should have sensed them. A shaman should have pushed them away instinctively, but he didn't. It was as if something had wrapped chains around his spirit, suppressing it, burying it, keeping it asleep. Ntshiab Liag watched from afar and her heart grew heavier.
Ôi cha tụi có lời họ. Pheej Hmoo, tụi chỉ nên ngồi cuối chữ báo chỉ trong đi nó.
That night, exhaustion finally claimed Pheej Hmoo. The television hummed softly in the background as he sat alone on the couch. Before long, sleep pulled him beneath its surface, and a dream appeared. The moonlight bathed a mountain courtyard in silver as the lanterns swayed gently in the evening breeze. The scent of incense drifted through the air. Standing before him was a young woman, Ntshiab Liag. Pheej Hmoo held a small charm in his hands, 3 gold bells with white, pink, and green beads bound together, carefully tied in red knots.
Ntshiab Liag, nếu nó có sự chen ý tu nền đánh lời, cũng đó có trong xe hẹn, cũng tu mua khởi công chúa cho chữ nó lời. Nếu như khách đó có, theo ba có, số lưu xe hờ, như mua cái cuốn thọ.
Ntshiab Liag smiles beautifully. Pheej Hmoo then tied the bells to her sash around her waist.
Ôi cha Pheej Hmoo.
He reached forward and his hand gently cradled the back of her head. Slowly, their foreheads touched and his voice softened.
Cũng tu mình non so.
Có Pheej Hmoo của có tụi nông xó đó chi nà. Dài chỉ hùa tụi ya dỗ nọ.
Vì hai tia, tu nông so, do ý tu chỉ muốn lần từ tao bỏ đó. Thọ bỏ lời, nhưng ý tu, dòng gâu mua hơi chỉ cha lấy hành lý lo mò. Vì linh đờ, chúng mong cứ ý lên, ông mong trong mong dòng tao bỏ chết lia, tụi nên dòng gâu cha thôi ya, nhớ trong đàn được cú lu xuống đia.
Ntshiab Liag laughed as she twirls her waist. The bell jingled softly with every turn, dancing with her. Suddenly, the dream fractured. Darkness swallowed everything. Pheej Hmoo's eyes fluttered and his chest tightened. Something invisible was wrapping around his throat. Then he couldn't breathe. Sleep paralysis. The room around him twisted into shadows, and a cold presence lingered beside him, gripping him on his neck as his chest tightened. The sound of the bells echoed through the house, and the darkness trembled. Then the weight on his chest vanished instantly. Air rushed back into his lungs, and Pheej Hmoo gasped awake. The first thing he saw was Ntshiab Liag. She rushed toward him. Her hands immediately grabbed his shoulders.
Có bố cho Pheej Hmoo.
Her eyes were filled with worries, not the teasing smile she always wore. Pheej Hmoo stared at her, still caught in between dream and reality. Then quietly, he whispered,
Ntshiab Liag, của tụi mình non so.
That name, no one knew that name. No one. Not for over 100,000 years. Only one person had ever called her that silly name. Only one. Slowly, she stepped backward. Meanwhile, Pheej Hmoo stood from the couch, drawn toward her by something he couldn't understand. He walked forward, one step, then another, until he stood before her. Without a word, he reached toward the charm hanging at her waist. His fingers wrapped around the bells. The sound echoed softly through the room, and a strange sadness filled his chest. And somewhere deep inside Ntshiab Liag's heart, a forgotten wound began to ache once more. Pheej Hmoo then let go of the charm and rubbed his forehead.
Cô thought gì? Cô chỉ bao giờ ở chả ra cô lời.
Breaking eye contact, Ntshiab Liag remained silent. She knew exactly what was happening. His soul was remembering, and so was his third eye.
Pheej Hmoo, cô sa ba có sợ tranh ý tư gì nên.
Có.
Cô.
Ý tư đá, yếu ba cô sợ ý tư gì nên.
Đã, sao xe. Chúa cô chỉ tao sợ cả sự.
She corrected him. Pheej Hmoo continued laughing as Ntshiab Liag crossed her arms.
Có bộ báo tiền, giá có chấp mong rong có thể tao cô lại cho có kẻ.
Celia glared at him. Eventually, the laughter faded and a more serious expression settled on her face. This time, her voice was different, more softer and sincere.
Pheej Hmoo, cô chính có sẽ tia yêu về lý cha, có thể bỏ tao cô, cũng cho tao tia.
Do tôi đã
Chỉ nhau, ở giờ mua trong hông là xin chỉ đùa. Đã chỉ cũng chính tao tia, lên tôi yên khí cho kỳ đà, là đâu có bỏ tao cô, thiếp có bá tao có. Rung ly cũng lòng tao tia, mỗi ý đã chỉ, thái có cho kề.
That's true. Every shaman he met told him the same thing. They all refused to take him as their disciple. One, they cannot see his spirit guides. Two, they all said that they cannot intervene with fate. When it's time, all shall reveal itself. Karma has its own path, and if they dare to intervene, they shall bear the consequences.
Kéo anh ấy ngoài dài nó, có yêu chủ mua cái giọt khoan nén là bá có, cú sái mà.
She looks to the right of her.
Có yên mua ấy tụi mình nhọc khoan nén nhóm tại có ấy xa, đã xì có chỉ bỏ nữ, bây giờ mà.
The spirit guide bursted into excitement.
Giọt cơ. Nếu đã chỉ bỏ cụ thế chỉ nó cũng ly này. Và tao nhô cụ sẽ cơn gầu liền. Cụ tôi bá chỉ tao nửa ly này. Nếu Pheej Hmoo chỉ cho cụ tôi xả tìa rộng nồi cụ tao cho mù hay tìa. Chê cụ tôi nên đi mua thiên lần chê. Thế kia. Hay tìa cụ yên ít chữ nhó nọ. Ôi.
Pheej Hmoo stared into the empty space she's looking at.
lời nhón là nó.
Nữ, nhóm tại nó.
Celia started thinking about the scent she had detected inside the house. She closed her eyes as she felt the energy in the room. It's strong, a lingering resentment, an unseen presence, a dark force that's beyond his grasp. Perhaps a curse? And suddenly, everything makes sense. Someone had been suppressing him for lifetimes. Celia looked at him with a quiet determination.
Giờ lời tụi nên dù chính giá tế bá có, là cụ mà bá.
She took one step closer.
Cụ hình chính trai, Pheej Hmoo, xin hưu nà mù, cụ yếu là ua, tụi cháu có cho kê, có sợ là chênh ý tụi gì nên.
Outside the house, beneath the shadow of an oak tree, stood Nkauj Nag. The moonlight filtered through the branches above her, casting a fractured shadow across her face. Through the living room window, she watched them. The bell softly jingled inside the house, and the familiar sound pierced her heart like a blade. Her fingers slowly curled into a fist as the feeling of loneliness she had carried for centuries boiled inside her. Nkauj Nag's eyes darkened.
Nếu chỉ sao xa tìa, nếu đi, giờ nếu yêu ý bộ xong là sự ý bộ chết xong lò, cũng yên yêu chỉ kia thôi nhà mù có trở lên để cho kiến trở.
She continued staring through the window, watching the way Pheej Hmoo looked at Celia, the very thing she had spent lifetimes trying to prevent. Then a bitter laugh escaped her lips.
Pheej Hmoo, có chỉ sao chia sẻ tìa, có yêu muốn cho cái sổ sẻ kia liền. Cô yêu bao có tao khó, và nếu cho cô.
Yêu chỉ đủ có mù, chỉ hai đứa nữ lo yêu mòn đu. Có yêu bỏ đỡ cô, cho khó nhớ cho lưu sĩ hờ. Khi cô sẽ tôi kia, sau này yêu chỉ cho con kia. Nụ nào cô mù kiếm rằng cô yêu chỉ nhau cho con đi. Cô lưu sẽ yên chừng gây, chỉ cho con đi yêu gì. Cô yêu hay có giấc mơ, có bữa lo chỉ cho rõ. Khi cô sẽ tôi kia, sau này yêu chỉ cho con kia. Nụ nào cô mù kiếm rằng cô yêu chỉ nhau cho con đi. Cô lưu sẽ yên chừng gây, chỉ cho con đi một ly. Cô yêu hay có giấc mơ, có bữa lo chỉ cho rõ. bơ